abilities that they want to fight around for the most part. The little odd one out there is, of course, the Death Prophet played by Symmetrical here for Into the Breach. But yeah, I think it's going to be high tempo, and it's going to be chaotic. And that's, to me, that's good for Team Bald. I think the games we've seen from them so far this season, they are not shying away from fights, and they are definitely picking in a way that enables them to play like that. So should be good stuff. Want to quickly mention maybe, like the panel was talking about, putting the Weaver on 5 instead of 4 here. I think it's very good. Weaver benefits a lot from laning with Luna. You know, you get that extra damage from the Lunar Blessing. It helps you a lot with amplifying together with the Swarm. Like, the damage just becomes overwhelming really quickly. And more than anything, you need the Lion to protect the Pango in lane. Yeah. So if he's laning against Ursa, that's going to be miserable. But he might not even do that. He might be laning... Is Ursa safe lane or mid? They could choose here.
No, they're going to be sending him a safe lane, surely, with these starting.
Because technically, you could have put the Ursa mid as well, right, against Void Spirit, and then you could have put Kunkka safe lane. But I think it's probably better to just put the Ursa safe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, sure. I think Kunkka having that bit of beef, you know, he can at least deal with a bit of the harassment that Excalibur's going to be kicking out in the matchup a bit better.
Yeah, you get more value out of Kunkka mid because he's better at farming the side camp, right? So if you're just breaking even mid, Kunkka will always go and take that extra camp. Ursa can't really do that to the same extent. So if you want to do that trade, it's specifically because you want higher levels on your Ursa, or because the matchup in the safe lane's too bad for him and Kunkka stays better afloat there, but it's totally fine here. Actually, they are throwing a curveball. It is just going to be Weaver 4. I was so happy to see them putting the Lion up here, but they've decided to play him bottom with Luna. I think that's good for Into the Breach. I think these lanes are actually weaker than if Team Bald had placed them the other way around. I
mean, of course, you can get a lot of value, right, playing the Weaver up on this top lane in terms of the courier sniping. So we'll see if Alex is able to set up for that. That's one thing that's really nice playing on this top side. Much easier to have that whole strip of the top lane to get in behind the tower and take the couriers down.
But the downside is, I think Regix has to be very, very careful with how he uses Swashbuckle now, because there's no defensive line. If Ursa gets on top of him, he's dead. And you can choose as LeBron in this lane with Grimstroke against these two heroes. You can actually opt for going for the silence really early. You can get Phantom's Embrace even on level 2. And then if Ursa goes for, let's say, Overpower on level 2, or maybe goes 1-1-1 build on level 3, you have total kill potential in both of these heroes who don't have the best base attack time to get rid of the Ghost that quickly. So definitely something that we could be looking out for here for Into the Breach. They get the level 2s.
What's he got?
He does skill Overpower. We'll go for the Inkswell for now, though, on LeBron. I feel like it's going to be a bit hard to use for now. Obviously, both heroes from Team Bald relatively good at escaping Inkswell, right? You've got both Swashbucklers with Shikuchi, so...
Oh, here we go as well. Getting that setup done behind the tower, so he's going to keep his eyes on the deliveries and see if he can get those snipes to make that laning stage a little tougher for the Ursa.
Oh, I'm keeping my eyes here on the bottom lane as well, so... Obviously, Death Prophet position 3, not something that's been overly popular at all, but it is one of the heroes that I think Symmetrical in particular likes playing quite a lot. This hero has some very bad matchups, I would say, in the side lanes. Oh, actually going to get gone on here, but is turning it back right around onto Gorg, who has no regen left. There's a salve on the Lion, though, so we'll keep him up just fine.
Yeah, and he CS it pretty well down it.
But yeah, DP usually prefers playing against, let's say, a variety of melee carries, right? You have the range advantage. If they try to go on you, you know you keep that Siphon on the whole time. But against Luna, you're also pretty okay. It's a short range carry. Keeping the leash going is relatively easy. You're playing with a stun in your lane. And more than anything, Death Prophet really just wants to get some farm in the beginning. You want to get maybe 2 Null's Phase Boots, or something to that effect. Maybe 2 Null's Boots into straight Yules in a game like this could be interesting. And I don't see this bottom lane of Team Bald pressuring him that much, but so far they've done a very good job on the last hit department. Gorg 15 for 3 against 8 and 1.
Yeah, he's going to be very
definitely performing better down here than I thought they would in this respective lane matchup. Maybe some good combo denying between the ranged heroes. That's always something that you've got going for you when you're playing with Luna, right? Is that aura, if you coordinate your last hitting very well, denies can be very effective. How many denies do they have combined? They only have 4. It's not even that many, but...
definitely a couple of range creeps in there, though, as we saw down bottom. I mean, do you think this lane would have been going as good as it was if it was the Weaver with the Luna instead of the Lion, or this has actually worked out best for them?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it would have been
completely fine at least, but The bigger thing for me with putting the Lion top would be to protect Radix, but he has 13 CS. He's actually doing as well as Ursa, if not slightly better. So if this is the outcome they're going to get, like literally no problem whatsoever. Radix is having a great time. Level 3.5. The enemy 2 heroes in the lanes have yet to crack level 3. They have the Weaver Urn unlocked. Oh, Pablo, first blood.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they'll get him with the Crypt Swarm. Fairy Fire, not quite enough to save Pablo.
And that's the thing you set up for down here, right? If Lion has used his stuns, he's just a very easy target. If it's a Weaver there, the Into the Breach lane can't really kill Weaver for the most part. Shukuchi is just exceptionally good against Death Prophet, right? You just get away. All you have to deal with is one Nyx stun, but they get as much out of that as they could. It's very nice for them to get that first blood, of course, in a losing lane at the time. I believe now the Death Prophet should be equalizing with Luna pretty much.
Of course,
playing aggressively here.
Yeah, he's kind of stuck in the trees. He's trying to find a way out. Let's see if he's able to do so.
Oh, that's big.
That final right click will take him down. Gorg not able to escape the two of them there. Tanner and Symmetrical chasing him into the trees, and Gorg just didn't have a route back to safety.
And now we're closing in on all three Dire cores being top of the net worth chart, because you would imagine Ursa starts picking this up a little bit more as he's getting levels in this top lane. So, yep, it's looking very good for Into the Breach, of course. One lane we haven't really talked about in the mid lane. You've got Xantic just playing Kunkka, I would say his best hero. He's level 30 on that in Dota+. I don't remember how many games you need of that in pubs, probably like 500 maybe, depending on your win rate. Maybe it's actually even more. He plays this hero a lot. He's very, very comfortable, has a good matchup here. And he will know how to maximize this, so no surprise. I think Excalibur's doing a great job, though, equalizing at minute 5. They have the same net worth. But over time here, Kunkka now, especially hitting level 5, the harassment just becomes really nasty to deal with. Low cooldown, you just keep Tidebringering off the range creep. Keeping Excalibur at bay here as much as he can.
Do you imagine when the sort of 6 is online for Excalibur, one of these side lanes easy for him to make a move into early?
Ideally, you want to make a move together with a Lion, right? That's the one good setup that you have. But I don't know how interested he will be in going bot. LeBron is going to Inkswell Coma.
Coma trying to keep LeBron covered and maybe try for the setup turnaround as they look towards the Pango. LeBron will tick out to the bugs. And Radix, he's going to be more than fine. Coma not quite enough damage to take him out.
Oh, did Xantic he just soloed Excalibur?
Well, he did see it, yeah, exactly happening at the same time, the move being made on the mid lane. I believe, yeah, both hit the 6s, and Xantic was able to set up the combo and catch out Excalibur.
This is one of the major upsides to Void Spirit, in my opinion, in this lane. If you can equalize on farm, you shouldn't really die, right? You have 2 abilities that enable you to disengage from the Kunkka. I'm assuming Excalibur had already used his Dissimulate and just got caught in the full combo and couldn't disengage. But, you know, later in the game, Kunkka, you generally don't really want to open on Void Spirit under any circumstances, right? It's just always going to dissimulate your entire combo and it's going to fail.
Oh, top lane, we see that setup, as you said, that Into Breach have, allowing them to take down the Pango, but it's a full commitment from the Ursa, and it costs him his life, and also LeBron's. Now, Ixon picking up some action, picking up some earn charges on this top lane. That's going to be a huge boost of XP there for him off the back of that cleanup, pushing him onto what will be quite a quick level 6 this game. So this Weaver's going to be pretty annoying for Into the Breach.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still surprised this top lane is going this way. I just feel like on paper, you don't win that as Radiant. But they're doing a really great job.
All mid.
A ghost ship. They're trying again. Well, that time Excalibur had his spells ready, and that combo just did nothing. But he's still... I mean, he can tip him all he wants. He's kind of getting destroyed. So, I mean, it's oh, bottom lane. That's a dead Nyx. Dove a little bit too far. Maybe not. Wow.
You spoke too early, Sid.
Yep.
And now I think Pablo. Oh no, he was dead.
Told you he was dead.
You saw the future. Yep. But they will lose Pablo for it in return. So Symmetrical, he'll be fine with that. Picks up a bit of a solo XP kill in return. See, Ixon, he's nearly killing off Coma in the jungle here. I mean, Coma's falling very low to the earn charge. I think he's just straight up dead, isn't he, if Ixon can find him. He's going to... Okay. All right. He says, I can get back in and take this one. He jumps back in on minuscule HP and gets the kill there with the help of LeBron.
Yeah, unfortunately for Coma there, the kill does go on the Grimstroke. I think you really want this one on the Ursa just because the lane didn't go as expected. But most importantly, they get the kill in general. And Weaver's out of earn charges, and it might not sound that important, but a lot of the kills that happen in this top lane and top area, really the earn is the deciding factor for pushing them just over the edge. So now that you don't have that available, the next fight here could be favored for Into the Breach. They might go for the silence here onto Radix. Reacts in time. He's gonna be fine. I told you.
Is it just enough damage?
I thought it... Wait, did he swashbuckle the wave right before they went on him?
Wait, what do you mean? No, he swashbuckled into the trees.
Oh, he swashbuckled into the trees.
Tried to roll away, but hits for him before the roll was
there. He swashed while it was midair.
Yeah.
Got it, yeah, okay, all right. I don't know, for some reason that didn't register with me. I'm very old.
It's early.
Yeah. Oh, bottom lane, lots of action here.
Yeah, Gorg.
That's a good boat.
He's trying his best to juke his way through the trees, and Xantix chasing him down with the double damage. Gorg turns with a elusive beam, and Xantix under the tower chasing him. He'll get the kill. Back on the back lines, you've got Radix chasing over towards Symmetrical, but the Siphon is up, and with the Ghost out, Radix is in trouble. Symmetrical's going to be able to survive, turn it around, and they're not done yet into the breach. They're looking for Pablo deep behind the tower. Into the trees they go, and Xantix cuts down another with the double damage.
Team Ball just didn't have enough in the tank, and I think the one hero that they really would have liked to be there, Excalibur, just never showed up. I guess he had cooldown on TP.
Did he?
If he didn't, I'm just surprised. He didn't TP, right? This fight happened close to the bottom T1 tower. You're clearly trying to take the fight with your team, so if there was a call to not fight there, then I get it. But they were fighting, so
yeah, maybe
then nobody was listening to the call. Like, either way, it wasn't good. You need your Void Spirit involved in these fights. You see multiple heroes in the Dire were actually really low, especially DP almost got killed off by Radix, but that's the beauty of DP is you can be as low health as you want. If you don't get pushed over the edge, DP has such insane damage output, and always, you know, you can... I like to call it an equilibrium here, you know? It just keeps you guessing. You're like trying to stay in that health range where you stay alive, but also the enemy team is kind of tempted to go on you at the same time.
Yeah.
And he got the max value out of that and got the tower. So very nice for Into the Breach here. Now, adds... I was wondering if he was going to go for this, and he is.
I like it.
Orchid first.
This is very nice, right?
It's a great Orchid game. It's good against the entire enemy team except Luna, I would say. Even against Luna, it's okay. Radix is going to roll away top. He just got scared of getting killed here. And with this Orchid, ads can suddenly start looking to, you know, not necessarily solo kill Void Spirit, but pretty close with +1. Oh, he's actually going to go for this here.
I mean, he's used Assimilate. I mean, they'll get the setup into the Soulbind. Phantom's Embrace down, but Xantix hasn't really got much more to offer than a few right clicks, so won't commit. A little too close to the tower and aware that Team Bowl could come in with backup. So he'll focus on finishing off his Orchid, which he's going to have at this very, very quick timing. And of course, at a point where there's nowhere close to any sort of item being there that's going to help anyone this game against that silence.
It looks like Excalibur might not even be anticipating that this is a build that is going to come out from ads. He's not going for the Euls and Void Spirit that you would usually see as a solution to this. He's going Sanj Kaya here, so that means for the foreseeable future, ads has a really, really good setup on this Void Spirit. Like, you can imagine Conca plus any hero on Into the Breach can kill Excalibur at any given point. And when you're playing a hero that's so illusion-driven as this hero is, that's quite intimidating. Similar problem for Weaver, similar problem for Pango. So.
Oh, and here we go in the mid.
Yeah.
I've got the setup. Do they have the damage? They certainly do. Yeah. Perfectly weighted out with the time.
Nice and easy.
And that time round, that wasn't even with the bow. So they've got more to throw into that combo next time. It's not going to be easy for Excalibur when Xantix on the hunt.
Radix will escape for the time being here. And the Bug's obviously giving a lot of intel about the exact placement of Into the Breach's heroes, so they're probably just going to settle here and keep up the pressure for the top tower. It is pretty intimidating being Team Bald fighting into this. You need a good Pango roll, I feel, to take this team fight, and you really don't want to just give up this tower for free.
Yeah.
Exorcism is running out. They might just call it and go back in a second. Good damage.
I mean, from the side, Ixon is trying to scout things out from the river.
Oh, Excalibur!
Oh, he comes in, he's immediately been silenced. Soulbind's back up as well as the torrent and the bow. Excalibur just dies immediately.
All right, that's just flat out. I feel like the word naive is really good for that. I don't know. That was crazy. He TP'd straight next to the Orchid. I I don't know if he's like disrespecting or not expecting that Ads is going to pull that off, or maybe he was like, oh, even if I get Orchid, I can back off and we can get in Pango, but Soulbound together with that Pangolier and that play just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
They made that very, very easy for Into the Breach. And I don't mind that he wants to fight and try to defend the tower, but you can't TP offensively as Void Spirit on top of a Kunkka with Orchid, right?
You're just going to die.
TP on the back lines, let Pango start it, or even let your Lion start it, right? Get in with an Earth Spike or a Hex, and then you can follow up. You're going to see the replay here.
Oh, actually, no, this is the this is when the Orchid was, I believe, maybe delivered by LeBron when he came in. But of course, this was the reveal. So as you say now, Excalibur, he knew the Orchid was in play.
Right. In a way, this replay is kind of what happened top. So it's kind of like you see the same play twice. He gets Orchid and just comboed. Here it is. So he just jumped into them, and they're trying to use it as a setup for the Pango roll. But I think if you want to bait this, you have to go with Lion first. So Lion goes in, gets his spells off. He takes the brunt of the counterplay. Like maybe he gets Orchided, which would be great for Team Bald if he's already cast 1 or 2 of his spells. And then you can follow through the Pango roll, and Void Spirit can come in and do all that damage in the Pango ult. But doing it in that order just seems optimistic and did not work out whatsoever. Nice. And the sad thing for Team Bald is the tower was actually defended, right? Like the exorcism had ran out.
Yeah, they
were. Breach were kind of just stuck up here with no way of pushing that tower. So if you choose not to fight, you kind of indirectly win because the enemy team pulled so many resources to do how much damage is that on that tower? Like 400, 500. Used Exo for this. You tried to use that to kill the Pango, which failed. So
like you said, the best move there would have been to do nothing.
Either, like, you could have placed 1 or 2 heroes that just kill the wave. Like, Pango plus Weaver could have maybe just killed the creep wave and everyone else could have farmed. Or you could have gone and pushed mid-tower, put pressure there, forced the Hand of Into the Breach to rotate around the map. Because, once again, the tower pressure this Dire lineup has is almost non-existent without Exo, right? Kunkka and Ursa are not good tower pushers at all. Especially not when the Kunkka goes Orchid, right? Like, the damage isn't, like, that crazy. And you don't want to hit the tower, really, to begin with on this hero. So you had all sorts of options.
Apologies for this pause, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we're having some trouble, or at least Coma's having some trouble with his internet. But no word on it in the chat. So
he said he's lagging, but he's still connected.
He's not gone for a reconnect.
Guess he just has bad ping right now.
He's just waiting it out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're down to chill. We'll wait.
I'm curious what items you go for in Ursa in this game after Diffusal. Like, he's queued up an entire build right now. It's funny to see how some players take really different approaches to this. Like, some players like map out, oh, these are the next 3 items I think I want, so you just put all of it in quick buy, and others do 1 item at a time. By the looks of it, he wants Diffusal, BKB, Dagger. I think that's pretty sound here. I guess you really want the BKB at least.
I mean, Into the Breach.
Pablo's dead.
They know where they can just run past these towers and get kills. They're very strong with the setup from a Xantic. Oh, Blackson, yeah, he has to use that time lapse to get away from them, but they see him. And he's back in a position off the back of that time lapse where they've got clear vision of him all.
So now, effectively, they got 4 kills while dealing 30 damage to the tower.
Yeah, whilst they didn't have Exorcism.
So they, again, all of these kills were kind of just handed to them. They didn't really need to work for them. It was just heroes showing up to defend a tower that didn't really need that much help.
They're going to try and make a go on mid.
All right.
Stone will miss. And they got the finger. That'll do it.
That's a big kill.
Takes a lot, but it gets it, and it's indeed the biggest on the map right now, taking down a Xantic. Very, very big commitment, but it pays off, and may even let them to do some damage to tier 1 mid. We'll see how much they want to push it. They've got 4 heroes.
Yeah, not the best pushing lineup either. You have Luna Aura, which is kind of nice, but nothing obvious to take the tower. And mid tower is a lot harder to take than the side lane tower top. That they actually are close to getting Team Bald. Might want to make a smoke move top, get a kill, and then take that tower out. Open up some more space for the Luna to farm. Obviously, Gorg in this game going for the farm heavy build with maxed out Glaives and Lunar Blessing. No point in ult yet at level 11, so it's just going to full out farm. And Luna would like this top tier 1 tower taken, so he gets access to, you know, that extra wave, get the hard camp on the side, and then he goes down and farms triangle. So that, like, natural rotation you do as Luna anyway just gets expanded by an extra 100 gold per minute that he could get in that top area. But they really need to claim the tower to unlock that farm for him. And for now, they're not getting... All right, Tanner going to poke Rajix here. Says hello, Vendetta was running out, I guess.
Yeah, it was last second of it there.
And a little bit of smoke and mirrors, too, because there's a smoke coming from behind, and they might feel safe now that that failed with the Yeah, Radix is dead.
Yeah. And Xantic, he's able to get the setup before Radix jumps away in time.
You can play the enemy team a little bit of mind games with Nyx, right? If you vendetta someone and you run back, you're like, oh, okay, they were looking for a fight and it failed. And then they immediately smoke out over there, and you could tell Radix was not expecting this at all because vendetta was just used to just tickle him, essentially. But they turn it into a move, and they're going to read this top tower as their grand prize for this move. And in the meantime, Ursa's also free farming mid, so Diffusal will be completed here now for Coma. Would imagine they want to look for Roche, maybe next Exo. Is he just going to try now? He's just going to try it because the intel they have top. They know Ixen is up there, and they had the kill onto, obviously, the Pango from before. Yeah, and he has picked up the lifesteal, so he's going to be pretty safe doing this. They're smoking up and checking it out, and they do have good fight around the pit with the Rolling Thunder if they can get in. Excalibur, he's going to start things off with a quick jump and a grab onto the Kunkka. And Xantic fully focused, they bring him down. They take out the Kunkka. Coma turns his attention over towards Radix. Radix swashbuckles to the side. He's going to be thrown up in the air by the Yules. Can he get the ult off in time? He can, but the physical will still take him down. And they've taken out 2 from Into the Breach. Can they get more? They're looking towards Symmetrical, but up to the high ground, Symmetrical and Coma reset. Ixen is chasing, and with the move forward from Pablo, they might be able to catch even more from this. The Hex is out, on a Symmetrical, drag back from the remnant of Excalibur. If they take out 4, Team Bulb will be able to push Into the Breach away from the pit. The question is if they can go in and do it themselves. I mean, with Luna Weaver, they have some potential, Swarm,
but it's...
yeah, but it's only level 2. And it's
yeah,
so the problem with doing that from Into the Breach's perspective and why I thought they were going to wait is that they had just expended Exorcism for the top tier 1 tower, right? So now you're essentially brute forcing a Roche fight where you are missing one of your absolute key abilities, and there was no risk that the enemy team was going to do this. So you essentially just gave them the choice to try to fight you. If you wait 2 minutes and make the same move, or if you make a smoke move first and kill a key target so it's safe, then you're all good. But look at this entire fight. Imagine DP ult right now on that right side, how much damage he's doing. He could have just... Pango would have already been dead now. He could have got Luna down to a 3rd, so Gorg can't fight back. And essentially this fight is a win, I think, for Into the Breach with that spell. But with it not being available, and obviously Team Bolt know this. They know it was used for the top tower. They're like, wow, these guys are biting over more than they can chew trying to go for Roche, and they punish them. And it's dead Pango again. It's not very easy being Pango in this game. You need to play against the Nyx that can catch you at any point, DP Silence, and Ursa with Diffusal. I mean, round 2 here, now they might get the Roche. Yeah, and I think while this is, you know, this is still decent, but you did lose a lot of heroes in order to get this, and maybe it could have been clean if you had waited a little bit longer until, say, now, when you do have DP ult. The good news is now they have DP ult.
They do.
So they can go for a move with this Aegis.
That's true, and there's it's still a tier 1 to take in the mid.
I think they're just going to go straight there, honestly. I wouldn't hold it against them. DP is pretty safe here. You have 1800 health and Ghost Ship.
I mean, do you try and hold if you're Team Bold, or do you let this one go?
I think you're really tempted to, but I can't tell you for sure if you should. They're going to go like that. They're just not going for it. I guess the call here is Gorg is 100 gold away from BKB, right? He just really doesn't want to fight. They're going to give it up. I can respect this. You know, tier 1 tower mid is one you generally really want to try to defend with your life, but looking at the circumstances for this fight, you're 100 gold away from BKB on Luna, you're fighting into Aegis, DP has ult. You just call it a loss, move on.
I mean, they're smoking up with the 3 of them. This is moments before the BKB's been delivered on Gorg. And nevertheless, the 3 of them are going to look to jump onto Tanner. They'll take him out during their Hex and to grab that bounty
with
rune
the
as well.
Invis rune. He's going to walk into Sentry though. Hex.
How about Coma and LeBron are here? They've got a split here, Team Bold, and they will. They'll get themselves out to safety. They should be fine. Ixen will manage to get that courier. That'll be the Mithril Hammer down.
Another one? He didn't have another Geminate yet. Would have got a second kill there if he could, but it's one of the added benefits of Weaver, right? As a hero.
I guess he's got the Aegis and he still has a tier 1, so he knows that he can farm out here.
Tanner's gonna find Pablo, maybe.
He could be quick with the blink.
Ships in the night. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he didn't stun in time. He might blink.
He's gonna be out.
He hesitated a little bit there, Tanner.
He's out.
He wasn't unsure. Obviously, one of the nice things about Line in that position is that you have a stun that does 0 damage, so you can't Carapace pre as Nyx as protection. Let's say you were doing that to Alina, right? She's just dead. Yeah. Because her defensive ability in the stun will stun herself, but Tanner has to go for the Impale there. and was just a little bit too slow. Oh.
I'm trying for Miragix. He does still have a Thunder available, and yeah, he's totally fine. Back on the mid. They got their eyes on Azantic, but Azantic is, once he has that BKB, they're not going to be able to kill him in the team fights. Azantic will easily survive.
Way too early on the Dissimulate there, Excalibur.
But do they have enough damage? Not
Fortunately for him, the backup wasn't there, but that was...
What's happening mid? Ixon, it was just... Suddenly, I don't know, there were just sort of 3 heroes standing there, and one was not on the same team as the other 2, so he died. Yeah.
Maybe I forgot who he was playing for. It's like an own goal.
They're like, hang on, is this Weaver with you? Is he with you? No, he's not on our team. Let's kill him.
Did you ever play with a guy in school in football, and then he scored an own goal and started celebrating, and then remembered what team he was on after?
Yeah,
kind of felt like that.
That was me, Sin.
Oh, yeah. Well, then you did play with him. Every game.
No one else wanted to after that. So.
Did you get last picked?
I just didn't get picked.
Oh.
I just got kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get last picked, do you actually get picked?
No.
Not really, right? Oh, no. That's a dead Nyx. Oh my god, okay. They...
Well, he was, yeah.
Yeah, well, he protected the tower.
He got the tier 2 push. Yep. Space created there by Tanner.
Maybe he forgot what team he was on.
Yeah, maybe.
He was kind of on the other side of the...
They're trying to swap him in Ixon,
But yeah, it's fine. I really don't mind if supports do this. Essentially what Tanner is doing, he's creating like a wall between the tower push and his team.
Yeah.
So you need to get through this Nyx either by killing him, or you can't bypass a Nyx. He has too many stuns. So they kind of have to just go on him, and he just makes that tower kill clean.
Oh, here we go.
Totally fine.
They're going to try for Azantic. Can they burst him? Oh, yeah, with the Eclipse and everything they can. Now straight over towards Symmetrical, but Symmetrical's got the BKB up.
Oh, it's a little bit of a bonus, though. They got rid of that charge.
Well, still having a poke at him, but now the turn's going to be attempted. Pablo jumps with the Hex over towards Tanner. Mule's here, buying time for Ixon. Ixon should be fine. He's up to the high ground, but no. Coma sees him, jumps in with the Earthshock to take him down, but Symmetrical's been left on the low ground. Team Bold, they hit hard in the mid lane. The 5 of them just come charging out into the breach. And despite the fact that Coma has the Aegis, he's not quite ready to help his team, or at least provide anything to keep the rest of them alive, as they're doing a great job of just throwing everything down onto Azantic during that Hex, making sure he has no chance to BKB and walk it off.
Yeah, if there's no save on their team, right? So Azantic keeps playing this mid area, and I think he had a Grimstroke for coverage. It's not going to save you. You see, they're just going to immediately just commit and drop everything on him, right?
Yeah.
They have no save. He can't BKB because he's chain stunned and killed off. And I think this is maybe easier to say than do in that spot, but I think Kunkka should not be taking the mid lane for now. With the information they have on the map, I think this lane needs to be pushed out by Grimstroke, so that if this kill happens, it's on a way lower priority target. If he had, say, any defensive support behind him there, it's a different story.
Oh yeah,
then they can use it as a bait.
Yeah.
But essentially, Azantic had such a good start on this Kunkka, and I feel like he's died in the same way 2 or 3 times in a row. So his entire lead is now out the window. He has the same net worth roughly as Void Spirit at this point, and Luna is obviously dwarfing the Ursa. That's generally going to happen. Just farms faster, unless Ursa goes for the old, I don't know if we should call it the old school build at this point, but nobody really buys Battle Fury on Ursa right now. Most people opt for this like tempo build where you get the Diffusal and try to play the Aegises to get an advantage. But with Azantic dying all the time, they can't really use their Aegis the way they want, so...
No, for sure. I mean, without a doubt, for all sort of the lead that Into the Breach was getting the kills early on, and you look at the scoreboard now, it's been evened out, and I think it's Team Bold have dealt pretty well with how aggressively Into the Breach has been trying to go for them, and now as we're seeing, finding good opportunities to just group up and take down some of these scarier cores like Azantic without any difficulty at all.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like at this point, maybe it's time to just group up a little bit more as Into the Breach. Like, you've taken the bottom tier 2, try to make a smoke move where you get aggressive vision out. All right, Coma is actually going to defend this outpost. But yeah, imagine you push out this top wave and then make a move together, smoke into the enemy jungle, get an offensive ward out. And you can use your Ursa Aegis, which, oh, it's expiring now. They essentially didn't get to use it again because of these deaths, so scratch that play. This was the play they should have made 2 minutes ago, probably. Because they've had this BKB on Kunkka for 2 minutes now, right? So that was the time.
Yeah, and they haven't.
And on the flip side, look at Team Bald. They're going to make that move because they know Aegis expired. So they're like, okay, we were playing... The enemy team had a power play on us for 5 minutes that we survived, and now it's our turn to shine. And ironically, now Into the Breach are going to make this move without Aegis and too late, and they're also coincidentally making it the same time as Team Baldar. So effectively, the two teams are just going to swap high grounds, and this was the move that could have really put into the breach into a good position to potentially look for barracks. And now they should be happy to get even a good team fight out of it. Might find Ixen at least. X mark. Gonna Yules. Should die here. Orchid, yeah.
Yeah, they'll get him. But we'll see if Team Bold can get anything in return. The buyback, time-lapse comes out from Ixen to return to the front lines. They've got the controller. Zantic is able to get the BKB off in time for this fight as you'll start to head back. Radjic's coming in with the Rolling Thunder, trying to stay on top as the BKB will soon come to an end on Zantic. And just in time for the Rolling Thunder to come through, Pablo jumps forward to get the angle. Swashbuckles well onto Zantic. Is still not quite dead though. As Team Bob, they're trying to finish off this Kunkka. They will be able to do so, but just carnage across the battlefield as Gorg, with the BKB, manages to pick off Symmetrical at the end of it all. But now Gorg's own BKB coming to an end. Koma's ready to run him down with the Diffusal Blade slow. This time round into the breach, they will be able to hit back. As Team Bold, they commit heavily. They can't quite take the victory this time round. Into the breach, are able to deal with it. They do get Zantic, but we saw this time, when he gets that BKB off, it just takes so much more time and resources to actually bring down this tanky Kunkka.
Yeah, and unfortunately for that looked really good for Team Bald for a while, right? When they got that very good Pango roll off, they just weren't really able to connect their entire team. And toward the tail end of the Rolling Thunder, Gorg gets in with the Luna, pops Eclipse, and the first beam goes on the Nyx that has Carapace on. He didn't pre-BKB, so he spends the majority of his Eclipse standing stunned in the tree line. It's a huge loss of damage. You're going to see it toward the tail end of this replay most likely. So we're going to get the first kill on the Weaver. You've expended relatively minor resources here. You've used the Orchid. He's going to buy back TPN, and this means that the Weaver buyback trades off for almost an entire Kunkka health bar. So he's more or less out of the fight. It's Rolling Thunder screening a lot of space. It just... Gorg was so far away, actually. Oh, we're not even going to see the end of that replay.
Well,
they have found Excalibur in the mid lane as well. Right. I wonder how this ended up that way, because they were smoked together. And Gorg was... I think both Gorg and Excalibur were going a different way than the other three. All right, that's a finger kill on LeBron. Probably going to cost them something, though. Radjix. No Yules.
It's looking pretty dead here. Yes, into the breach, back in action, take 2 core kills themselves. I think that last fight as well, I think that with the BKB, he did dodge that finger damage, right?
I think so.
Because I think if that finger landed, I think it would have been enough to kill him.
He either dodged it or he had run buff, right?
No, the boat wasn't out yet.
Oh, he used it after?
So I'm pretty sure
then he must have BKB'd
the BKB just dodged the damage, yeah. Because of course you have that, what is it, 0.1 seconds or something to pop it?
0.25, I think.
Yeah. He had no.
Yeah, you're right.
So he would he have died if he didn't dodge it with the BKB? Nah, I guess he had 450 HP. How much damage is finger doing at that stage?
I think it would have killed him. It's level 2 finger, right?
It is. Yeah, it would have died. No, yeah.
It's 825 pre-reduction. No. Or sorry, 725.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And then he has the stack bonus, right? So he had 2 stacks, so that's another 80.
It would, yeah. I think it might have killed him.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if Pablo necessarily had the finger available before that point in the fight, or if it only just come off cooldown. But maybe it would have made the difference if he popped it earlier during one of the stuns.
I think that's one of the things that Lions make a mistake of a lot of the time, is that they're so obsessed with getting the stacks. Like, relative to how much that matters, sometimes you just need to get your spells through immediately, so you make sure you get the value, right?
Yeah, there was I can't remember what team it was, at TI or one of the big tournaments, but I just remember one of the Lion players, he would finger first up. Yeah. And it was brilliant.
I think Kaka actually did that quite a lot on Lion. So
I think it was Kaka.
Literally what you do online in a lot of situations is you know... When you go in and initiate on someone, you have a 2-second window to throw out your volley of spells, and then you need to get the hell out of there before you get killed, right? So I know Finger of Death has a long cast range, but if you are the real stuns on your team that guarantee the lockdown so that the finger can land, you got to get it done while you have time, right? And it's easy to say in hindsight, it was very close, obviously.
And as I said, maybe he didn't have it off cooldown then at that moment.
It's a good soul bind.
No, with the BKB, Gorg's going to try and look for more. Zantic pops the BKB himself, steps out of the river. Now Koma's in onto Gorg. Gorg needs help, and he needs it now. As they've locked him down, there's no safety for Gorg. As Gorg goes down, Radjic's also looking in trouble. Is he able to jump out of this one? Swashbuckle to the side. Well, they've got further lockdown. The silence comes in, dragged back into the clutches of Koma. As Into the Breach continue to kill off these cores, and Team Bold not quite able to do much back in return. They are looking for Koma. Koma steps up, but of course he's got the Aegis. Just be able to take him out the once. They won't be able to throw anything in the second time.
I was just going to say the really big difference between this Aegis and the last one is that they group up and make a move with it, right? And they even kept it intact, but now they lost it. So the next fight is very playable for Bald. I think if Coma still had Aegis now in this spot on the map, they could kind of corner the entirety of the map against Team Bald. It's really difficult for them to kill Ursa twice with their lineup. But with him down from that, it's a really high value kill even though he has Aegis. So they kind of are going to stabilize here, but I don't know. I get the vibe just looking at these fights that Team Bald are not really on the same page about how they want to approach the bigger strategy of how they fight, right? It's very... We said pre-game that chaotic is their style, but I would say in their better games in this tournament so far, they've looked more as a unit, like more structured, more coherent in what they're trying to do. And, well, Excalibur literally threw away all his spells now.
Trying to burst LeBron, but...
He could be in trouble. I think he's going to die.
He's looking certainly...
He used everything.
Pretty dead here.
He used literally everything onto LeBron on his own. Again, it's just disconnected, right? Like,
sure, they lose power blow. Excalibur's going in, but there's no one else to go in with him. And meanwhile, Alex gets caught out underneath the tower trying to cut the creep wave.
Yeah, I would say these last 5 minutes for Team Bald have just not been a good look. It's... I think, like the panel was talking about, they were favoring them, first of all, based on score in the league. Like, they're 2-2, Into the Breach are 1-3. Overall, Team Bald Reborn has looked better. But I would say, from my perspective, this is one of the weaker games I've seen out of them this tournament so far. Not from a draft perspective, not from, like, individual performance, but they just look less like a team than usual. And I want to see that. They have a couple of moves in this game where they did like good 5-man smoke, they attack, find an angle, and get something done. So clearly there is communication going on. They're like trying to structure something. But when it comes to the finesse in the fights, about hero placement, about spell usage, especially that one glaring fight in the mid lane where you had Excalibur and Gork really far away. I think Regix is going to be fine here. Yeah, he's going to ult. Really far away from the epicenter of the action. Just, yeah, kind of playing two different games almost, it feels. So I really want to see them shape that up, if not in this game, then in the next, like a little bit more unity in the approach to fights. But now Into the Breach are starting to build a really, really big advantage, right? Now suddenly 7,000 gold. It happened pretty quickly too. But at the very least, the silver lining for Bald is there's no Aegis for a while that they need to worry about. They got rid of that early in its lifespan, so you have like 4 minutes before Roche can spawn. And that gives you the option to choose, do we want to try to farm up an additional item on Gork? He has something flying out, right? Oh, it's a shard. Okay, that's a big power spike for Luna getting this item.
I mean, and would you say as the minutes go on, does the game ever get easier for the Luna against the Ursa, or Ursa just becomes more and more of a problem for Luna?
Luna's worst carry matchups, I would say, are usually the ones that get in her face. Yeah. So I don't think this is ever going to become Luna favored, of course. Maybe if Gork gets a butterfly, it will help at least temporarily, because Ursa doesn't really like buying MKB, but he will if he has to. Could see a Bloodthorn on the Kunk as a solution to that, though. That's always something that's interesting. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like bad core matchups for Luna, right? Against carry specifically, Lifestealer comes to mind, Ursa. Terrorblade, even though he's not in your face, he's just overwhelming you from range. And even illusion carries, like Luna, when you think about it, technically has a lot of bad carry-to-carry matchups, right?
Yeah.
She's also bad against illusion carries.
Much,
but,
right, yeah.
But she's very, very good at this mid-game timing where you group up as a team and take fights, which is what they were trying to do. But they don't have like that glue for Luna where, okay, we are going to own you at a tower fight, which, you know, a team like Nigma in the past have been really good at building these strategies of like Luna Dragon Knight, Luna Elder Titan, and just like blasting the enemy team into oblivion in that mid-game timing. Just hasn't really come together for them this game the way they wanted to. And I generally don't have much faith in Luna to solo carry a game. Like I feel like the hero doesn't do that particularly well, so really needs a lot of setups. And Void Spirit is okay.
There they go for LeBron. They'll get him.
Oh my goodness!
Full commitment here onto the Grimstroke. Gets the kill. Still, they also get symmetrical as well. Good lockdown from Radix on the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, nice heads-up play from Radix there, finding that collateral immediately. Identified. Okay, there's a DP here. Blinks in with the Rolling Thunder on, and keeps him stun locked the whole duration. So that was very nice. Very nice for Team Bald to get 2 kills and a buyback. No objective, of course. There's nothing to take. Roche is far away still. They have no waves pushed into the towers. Into the Breach are actually going to instantly smoke without their DP here, so opting for a 4v5. There's no like key spells on cooldown for Bald except Eclipse.
Radix.
And of course the Rolling Thunder. Maybe it's enough, but they get out. They just disengage.
Yeah, not quite able to get any setup there. Zantic not quite having the reach with the X mark, so...
I feel like that was a bold smoke to begin with. I think that could have backfired as well. Yeah, sure, the enemy team might not have Eclipse or Rolling Thunder, but you're missing your DP in this move. And if DP buys back, there's no point of connection. He needs to TP to the outpost and run for like 15 seconds to even get there. But maybe they were just trying to use the element of surprise there. Didn't work out though. Team Bolt were on their toes and got out of there. What if they're going to make a move of their own? They do not possess a smoke right now, I think. No smokes, so probably just going to handle some wave business here. Something nice that Weaver, of course, can do. One of the countless benefits of this hero as a support. You can push away from like 3,000 range away. You just throw the swarm and run away, and the wave is going to get pushed from that alone. So if Ixen wanted to, he could be cutting waves in any lane right now and just securing that, getting some extra farm, building towards whatever item he wants, currently being a Force Staff. Great item against Ursa and DP. Not so much against Soulbind. Got to be careful with that. It's going to be basically useless when heroes get bound. So that is the X Factor spell here for Into the Breach. Going to be a little bit of lag.
But the old lag, alrighty. Oh yeah, Team Bolt, they brought the numbers up top. They had the full 5 there. We'll see this move again. This time, no hesitation.
So, look at Radix. They're really, really clean. Blinking in with the stun. Doing the turnaround with roll up. Getting the chain off. You can see that Zantic was not exactly too happy about that. Nice TP out from Tanner here. Very, very close.
And you think it was a good call as well from Team Bolt to not, even though you've got the 5 up against the 4, to not go up to the high ground? You do want to play it safe and back off, or could they have gotten away with trying to get more out of this one?
I don't know. It's a little bit scary when the enemy team has the outpost, right?
Yeah.
The DP could buy back TPN, and you have expended key spells. You used Rolling Thunder and Eclipse. I think it's okay.
Yeah,
like,
you just take it.
The situation is very, very different when you invade the enemy high ground next to outpost than if you take, say, the 4v5 on your high ground when the enemy team smoked right after. I think that's a fight they could have won, 5v4. I mean, it doesn't sound that impressive when you say it like that, right? Wow, we won 5v4, but they were using losing key components of their heroes for the previous fight. So, Ixen might break a smoke here. He might also die for it. He looks very... okay. He's dead.
Yeah, they've got him. X-Mark. Time lapse already used. Not a chance there. As Coma, of course, the Tanic done. He's not going to be an easy hero to take down in these fights. As, we've seen Team Bolt, they have managed to burst at Zantic symmetrical when they catch him, but doing so with Coma now is going to be even more difficult.
I mean, considering that Zantic is kind of playing some sort of semi-utility build, I guess, right? He has both Orchid and Halberd. I wouldn't mind seeing him buying a disc. It might sound a little bit strange, but if you look at how the fights are developing... Oh, that's a good catch onto LeBron.
There goes.
Nice Lotus.
This time LeBron's going to be able to walk it off. He's able to turn. Excalibur, he's out straight away. Jumps down to the low ground, able to get out there with the help of the Illusion Rune. He'll escape this one. So the rest of Team Bolt will also be able to roll out. So they get the kill on LeBron, and they're all able to bail out of there in time before Into the Breach can lock any of them down.
And Gorg was bottom in the meantime. That was pretty nice. That was a 4-man kill, or, well, not a full team rotation minute 35. They were taking care of bottom while fighting and get that clean kill and get out. I mean, I say clean, it was scary. Excalibur could have been caught by literally any additional stun there and died, but didn't happen, so it worked out. Carapace onto Ixen, he's caught again. Will Yule here, and this Torrent's not going to land.
Yeah, Radix is going to be a bit more slippery with that Lincoln's done on top of the Blink Yules. Right, so yeah, Team Bolt feeling pretty confident. They know that this Grimstroke's dead for a minute after he used the buyback in the last fight.
I do see the disc being bought by DP, right? So they do have the idea that the way the Radiant lineup works is so dependent on getting that initial burst kill, right? You have Lion, you have Void Spirit, you have Pango, who are all committing in together.
Ixen.
Okay.
He's going to get help here, but he has already gone down. Can Team Bolt turn this around? Gorgon with the BKB, focusing over towards Zantic. Got pretty good damage here now on Gorgon with the rollback over from Radix and the finger from Pablo. They take down the Kunkka.
Coma got nothing off. He had Enrage, BKB, and Satanic already.
Did they catch him with a Hex to start things? We were sort of looking at Gorgon and Zantic. What happened to the bear?
He's just he's going in for the Weaver here. And he has the Enrage from the Earth Shock, but he's just getting chain stunned and killed off.
Yeah, good.
it's very clear that the Radiant lineup has this in spades, right? They have this insane burst, and that's why, again, I was suggesting Disc on Kunkka. We're going to get it on the DP, but even Ursa needs to be careful. I think...
they're going to get the Axe on this Roche as well.
Yeah, that's really, really big.
Axe for Radix this time.
Radix, maybe?
Who would you give it to?
I don't think you should give it to Radix. Probably give it to the Luna or the Weaver. Probably Weaver, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah, but giving the Weaver would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's Weaver or Luna. The Weaver's the more defensive approach. They are going to do that. So now they have the save on Ix, and he has a little bit of cast range from Psychic Headband, which helps quite a bit for the time-lapse cast.
That's a lot, yeah.
Goes from 500 to 600 cast range, which might not sound like a lot, but it really is noticeable.
I mean, this is turning into one of these games where it's hard to tell which way it's going to swing. Because now everything does seem to be back in favor of Team Bold. They're getting these moves, they're catching them out, and now Excalibur has been found in the combo here. They've got good silence, but it's going to be so much harder to go on heroes now with the Axe in play on Ixon.
Yeah, for sure. I think in hindsight, and this is easy to say right now, right? But you're Ursa fighting here and you find that Weaver. You're assuming that this is turning into a fight, right? I think you need to pre-pop Enrage.
Yeah.
And then as the fight develops, then you use BKB. I think it's greedy to go in and start the fight with only an Earthshock and not use one of your defensives, because you do know what the enemy team is capable of. If Koma has either one or the other running there, they don't lose the fight. Like, it's that simple.
Sure, he's able to turn, probably stay on top of the Luna, and suddenly Gorg's in trouble.
And Enrage is such a low commitment spell, right? It's a 30-second cooldown that costs 0 mana. Just throw it in there for safety. If it's just a skirmish and you're getting that one kill, whatever, you're ready to go in 30 seconds. If it is a big team fight, it might have kept you alive. So I understand you don't necessarily want to use your BKB, right? Like, that's a pretty high cooldown and high value ability to use, but Enrage is just such a... It's such a feel-good skill for that reason, right? It's such a great insurance. And let's imagine he uses Enrage and, oh man, the fight is going longer. You still have BKB and Satanic. Like, are you really going to need it? And
by the time the BKB is Satanic is gone, the Enrage is coming back in probably less than 20 seconds.
Yeah, and hopefully you've won the fight or got out, right?
Someone, yeah, taken out a call. Well, we'll see the dive here straight away. The opponent was standing to catch him on the high ground. He's gone for 90. No buyback. He's short on the gold. This is a big window now for Team Bold to push on for more. They've still got the Aegis, the Cheese, and there's no Kunkka for 90 seconds almost.
They don't know that for a fact, though. They don't know he doesn't have buyback.
Well, they are.
He has a backpack plate mail. He hasn't completed an item, so from their perspective, buyback could very well be available right now, and they don't want to overextend and dive here. Diving into an Ursa team can be really scary. He has great chase potential and huge burst, obviously, inside his own base. But I still would like to see Team Bold at least get mid-tier 2 and maybe either bottom tier 2 or take some really strong area of the map while they still have 2 minutes left in their Aegis.
Well, Pablo, he's ready to catch with the Hex. I mean, they've got to be careful playing around this triangle into the breach. I'll head away down bottom. Team Bold, I mean, you said you wanted to sort of see them play together as a team, and it's happening sooner than the next game. It's coming together in this one. They just needed a bit of time to warm up, but things are falling into place, and now at this point of the game, it's into the breach that's just looking a little bit lost.
It's like they flicked a switch and just started playing more tight, right? Like, I wouldn't say the fights are super clean, but even when somebody's going in, it's not like he's being left behind, right? Like, the team is following through. Right, this is quite the chase onto Koma.
Pablo's able to get the opening stun. Hex into the finger. Koma, he will get the chance to pop BKB and Enrage here off the back of the Shulls. BKB and Enrage, he'll goes for TP out. There's nothing to put a stop to it. So he manages to make it away. They're trying to see if they could hunt for more, but Tanner's already out with a Vendetta. In fact, ready to maybe scout out back in to give some information for what's going to be coming in on this bottom lane. But the creep wave heavily pushed out at the moment in favor of Into the Breach. A 9k lead, maybe down on kills, but those last few ones that Team Bold have got have certainly been worth the big bucks. And Gorg, as we're saying, he's gearing up nicely. The Butterfly, it'll be ready for the next fight.
Worth keeping in mind, of course, 4,000 of this net worth is the Ags from Roche.
It's true.
So that is essentially a time lapse. It's not stats. So a little bit, always slightly misleading on that gold graph, but obviously it's a super high impact item. He even now swaps out for a telescope. So it gets an extra 10 cast range.
Aye,
goes from 100 to 110.
I mean, the catch is going to be insane, as we're seeing. I mean, Pablo with that aura as well.
Yeah.
Pablo has been doing a great job on getting those hexes.
And it's awesome for Luna to play with telescope, right? You get cast range on the shard, and you get attack range on your normal range. So It's a real feels-good item for Luna to have in the team.
And he's so tanky now. With the butterfly and the
Trickster Cloak is great, yeah, for sure.
It's not easy for Coma to kill him. It feels like that sort of window where the Ursa would have been this big threat for Gorg has kind of passed, at least until he's able to get that next big item, the MKB, which he's
he has to
a bit away from, well away from it.
Definitely does have to get that. And, you know, usually we would talk about how good this item is on Ursa, the Witchbane that he has found, but there's no hero in the enemy team that the passive is particularly good against, and there's nobody buying Ghost Scepter. So there's no Scepter, there's no disc that he needs to get rid of, there's just literally heroes that are just kiting him or trying to stay alive, right? It's good against the Force Staff, I guess. But no, even that, he can't do that either. Then you need to be really clutch. You need to do it mid-force.
I've got to ask him, why is he carrying it at all? I mean, there's a Penta Edge and a Leveler. Are one of those not more appealing for him this game?
What does he want to purge? What? Does he want to purge an ally off something? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's that good here.
Maybe an anticipation of a pickup. I mean, if you run the numbers as you see on the passive, it's not that impressive.
I don't think it's that good
It's
here.
nowhere near comparable to like the damage plus of a Penta Edge.
No, definitely not. Nice. Yeah, or the Leveler is also good. It also gives 5 armor. Like, it adds up. It's good against Luna. It's good against Void Spirit to have this extra armor in the fights.
I mean, maybe we're missing something obvious.
I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't normally happen.
It really does, yeah. The maim on Penta Sword also nice, of course. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I agree. I think he's choosing the 3rd best tier 4 item for himself right now.
Yeah.
Unless I'm totally missing something, but. All right, Pablo gonna break the smoke and blink away. Very nice. But, Ison didn't hit the stun.
Oh.
Now he's just dead.
Back at a turn. That's Tana gone, and now can they get more? Gorg's ready to go over the BKB. They're focusing Symmetrical. Symmetrical just torn apart by the damage of Gorg. They're rolling on. See Koma trying to commit and onto Gorg. He's in with the BKB. Follow-up stun is there from Tana, but the time lapse comes out from Ix, and it doesn't matter. The swipes, and they're stacking up. Koma's able to bring down Gorg. Now they've got to split. They've lost their Luna. They've got no fight left to have here in Team Bold, as they will back off into the breach. They did commit 2 buybacks for that.
And one of them they really shouldn't have had to use. That was honestly, that's a pretty big blunder from Symmetrical there, right? So he has an unassembled Aeon disc in his backpack, and he never assembled it.
Oh no!
He was saving it, and this is a play that a lot of players will make because they don't want to pop their first disc in a useless way. I don't think his read there was, okay, I'm dead and this fight is terrible. Because clearly they were ready to fight, right? His teammates were there to back him up. He just never assembled it and just died.
Maybe it was just the big brain, I don't need to assemble Aeon disc if I've got buyback.
I wonder among what species that's considered big brain. That seems like a very bad trade-off to me, but I don't know. It's I would not trade off buyback for a cooldown on Aeon disc under any circumstances. I cannot imagine that ever being good.
What's got the longer cooldown? It may be buyback, but bigger numbers. I mean, slightly, maybe by ×5. What do we got here? Quick maths. Extra damage by Witchbane. That's the extra damage. That's pretty good against Voice Spirit. I guess that's 79 damage, but what Penta is plus 50, right? Plus 45 in attack range. I mean, all right. You know, it is a bigger number. It's a bigger number.
It is.
Yeah.
I think the added utility from the other items is just worth more, right? Like the maim on Penta Edge Sword or the armor from the Leveler really offsets that damage advantage. So if you don't have any benefit at all for the Purge, I just don't think it's worth it.
Well, actually, that's a bit of a hard question, Sin, but is the damage from the passive magical or physical?
Yes. Probably one or the other. The good thing is tooltips in Dota always say things very accurately, so I'm going to assume
they're just written in that, you know, especially invisible ink.
It's max mana damage type.
Max mana damage type.
Yes, that's what it says on there, so I'm going to trust that. If I were to guess, I would guess physical, but I have no idea. If it's pure, it would be pretty good.
No way
it says it's physical here, yeah. So.
Wait, here. Oh, we did. Oh,
we got a little bit of a note. So it is physical.
Okay, so it is physical as well. So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, which makes it like significantly worse, right? Because the heroes he's fighting against.
Well, it goes for the BKB then.
That's true, but Luna has really high armor, right? So Luna is the target he's fighting a lot. So against that hero, I think Penta Edge Sword or the Leveler would both be better. Man, we've talked about that a lot relatively to how little it
there's not much going on right now.
I guess.
It's just interesting because, you know, he's done the maths, and I like people that do the maths.
I think a lot of the times this item would be the best choice, right? So it's understandable it goes right. There's so many Ursa games where you really want to have that because it's a counter to Ghost, but again, there's just nobody using that.
Oh, I got it. Can purge the damage reduction that Shield Crash provides Radix.
Oh.
That's actually pretty nice, right?
That is nice.
That's pretty nice.
That is nice.
There you go.
Right. If he does it, I will give you all the credit. I have not seen him do it yet.
On the Spango, yeah.
I have not seen him do it yet. Big smoke here. Excalibur is in braking position.
Oh.
They're pinging each other. They will see him.
Who's going to make the jump first? Excalibur is in with the BKB. They're found Zantic, and Zantic, he's able to get the BKB off, does turn with the boat, down over towards Excalibur, and Excalibur's got another step available, jumps here onto Tanner, takes out the next assassin, and dissimulates out of the action for now. Coma, he's trying to get it onto Gorg, but Radix with the Rolling Thunder controls, holding back the bear. Stun comes out, they're in with a finger, they burst through Coma, the bear goes down. Gorg turns over towards Symmetrical, but Siphons are keeping this Death Prophet healed up. And Zantic, they're trying to finish him off, but Excalibur can't quite do so, and Zantic walks back to safety. Ixon still having a poke at them. There's a buyback from both Ixon and from Excalibur as they try and keep this fight going. Coma's also brought back into this, but they've got him with the Yule setup into the Remnant. He does have ult and Titanic if he can get it off in time. He's able to get the Enrage off. Silence for now. Radix, he's back in with another roll. Coma's got to run. Now buff him up with the Glimmer Cape, provides him the time to blink out of there, but Symmetrical himself cannot escape, as that's going to be him down and out for 2 minutes. Team Bold, they take the fight.
They're doing a really good job at just staggering their stuns very well, right? Like, Ursa with all these items this time got caught. I feel like this time it's more understandable that he gets burst down and taken down. First of all, the jump on Zantic, yeah, they didn't kill him, but they got him low enough that he had to play the fight defensively.
Yeah, he had to split.
If you look at the fight recap here and the damage distribution, Ursa is just not there relative to his net worth, right? He does 3k damage in a long, extended team fight, and he buys back. The highest damage actually came out from the Kunkka, who got jumped in the beginning.
I mean, he's having a tough game, Coma. For the start and the farm that he's had, these last few fights have not been easy for him to perform.
And I wonder what's missing, because I feel like from the perspective of watching this, if Kunkka gets jumped as the initial target, that should be a playing ground for Ursa to just pop BKB Blink in, use Overpower, and just go to town. When your BKB is expiring, you use Enrage, and you just isolate targets. But maybe something is missing here. I don't think there's any discs on the Radiant that would disengage or reset the fights. They just need to connect a stun with Nyx or with the Kunkka, and they can just kill with Ursa, but it's not happening.
Tanner.
Speaking of not connecting stun.
He jumps in. He's going to die for
that's
that
ugly.
One. He's out. As the boat coming down. Gorg is...
Oh, he's dead.
Just get focused by Coma. Gorg tries to step up to join the action. Coma this time is able to bring down the Luna.
Where was the time-lapse for Gorg? Was he stunned?
We might be able to catch down the replay. You're right. There was, I mean, he died pretty quickly, but it should have been opportunity to save Gorg there.
It's when I see moves like this and fights like this, it just highlights to me how much Ursa could technically do in this game if they just set it up with a stun, right? But maybe he's worried about the time lapse, which didn't happen this time around. Perhaps the call from Into the Breach is, all right, we're going to find the Weaver with anything, and then Ursa
got the ward on Coma. They're going to jump him. Oh!
They forced him in.
He's going to get forced down out of the base. Coma's gone. The ward sets it up perfectly. He wasn't ready for that one bit. As the buyback comes out from Gorg, I think they're aware there's buybacks not available on Into the Breach's side. Gorg's ready to come in and try and help Team Bold potentially end this game.
It looks over. Luna's going to wipe out the base in like 30 seconds. That means you're only going to be playing 3v5. You have no Ursa, you have no Grimstroke.
I mean, yeah, on paper, this has got to be a clean finish now, surely. Holding 3 versus 5 against an Aegis and a Cheese, it seems impossible. As Team Bold, they're onto the tier 4s. We'll see the jump forward from the Death Prophet. I mean, Symmetral's trying to get in on this. Eon Disc will provide him some safety. A buyback is up from Zantic. They're slowing them down a little bit, but they need more. The boat comes crashing over. Will buff up the 3 of them. Follow-up boat as well. Still looking down Ixon. And Team Bold, they're fighting through it all. Zantic in with the BKB. He does bring down the Weaver. Gorg's been stunned. The stun's out onto Gorg. Gorg, he's falling over. The Cheese is there. Back up to full HP. Excalibur fighting fit onto the 2 of them. Fully commits in with the Dissimulate. They've stunned the both of them. They'll be able to close this one up. As Team Bold, they'll take this game 1. It was quite the rocky road to victory, but they will manage to do it here. 52 minutes in. This game, it's in the bag for them.